You awaken in Razor Hill. This is I want to say short story, but it has like almost 30 parts to it. I actually don't really have it right here. Maybe if I go back one, it'll show you me. Nope, looks like I have this right here. I think it has about 30 parts to it. It's a World of Warcraft story, fan fiction type thing, written in the style of like an old text adventure game. Kind of. It breaks its own rules a lot. It's really unique. I don't think I've ever read anything like this before. But then again, I don't really read a lot of fan fiction. And this one is pretty good. I've only read like the first couple, like 5 chapters, I think. So, I'll get to that part eventually. You awaken in Razor Hill. This blog is for the purpose of archiving the Awaken in Razor Hill story. Copyrighted Blizzard Entertainment, written by Alex Levington. The official website unfortunately contracted malware, so I re-uploaded it. Alex Levington has given their approval for the site hosting. We are making no money off of hosting this Tumblr. It is purely to enjoy the story. Alright, so... Part 1. You are an orc hunter and your name is Ted Nugget. You feel this is an exceptionally clever name, but nobody ever seems to get the joke. You have a cat for a pet. His name is Scratch Fever. You feel this is also an exceptionally clever name. Nobody ever gets this joke either. You are level 80. Scratch Fever is also level 80. You do not remember how you came to be logged out in Razor Hill, but the place looks deserted. There are no NPCs in sight, and your track humanoids, which is currently active, is turning up completely blank. Scratch Fever seems agitated. His happiness is getting low, and you don't have any meat or fish to feed him. You only have 500 bullets left for your gun. To the north is the road to Orgrimmar. It travels along the base of a short, narrow red stone canyon. To the south is the little troll village you never remember the name of. To the east is Razor Hill's large central building. To the west is a primitive stampede earth path leading out into the Red Rock Desert of Diratar. Player types in Alt F4. I'm sorry, I don't know how to Alt F4. Scratch Fever is getting antsy. He paws plaintively at your leg, clearly getting very hungry. It will be dark soon. Feed leg to Scratch Fever. But if you feed Scratch Fever your leg, how will you walk? You are wasting time and Scratch Fever isn't getting any less hungry, nor any less agitated. He keeps looking around with sudden jerking motions, like he is trying to keep everything in sight at once. He had assumed this to be part of his normal idle animation, but he's doing it a lot more frequently than usual. He had expected that by now the NPCs would have respawned, had they all been wiped out in Alliance raid, but this doesn't seem to be the case. Razor Hill remains completely empty, save for yourself and Scratch Fever. Devise more meaningful methods of communication with Scratch Fever, so you can ask him what the fuck he wants. You sit down and make a concentrated, meaningful attempt to teach Scratch Fever how to speak in American Sign Language. But his lack of thumbs frustrates the two of you, so thoroughly you give up and he goes back to whimpering quietly and pawing at your leg. It is of course well known that careless talk costs lives, but the full scale of the problem is not always appreciated. For instance, in the exact moment you said Alt F4, a freak... Oops. Excuse that. A freak wormhole opened up in the fabric of space-time continuum and carried your words far, far back in time across almost infinite reaches of space, to a distant galaxy where strange and warlike beings were poised on the brink of frightful interstellar battle. The two opposing leaders were meeting for the last time. A dreadful silence fell across the conference table as the commander of the Volhorgs, resplendent in his black jeweled battle shorts, gazed levelly at Giguvunt, leader squatting opposite him in a cloud of green, sweet-smelling steam. As millions sleek and horribly be-weaponed star cruisers poised to unleash electric death. At his single word of command, the Volhorg challenged his vile enemy to take back what he had said about his mother. The creature stirred in its sickly, boiling vapor, and at the very moment the words Alt F4 drifted across the conference table. Unfortunately, in the Volhorg tongue, this was the most dreadful insult imaginable, and there was nothing but for it to wage terrible war for centuries. Eventually the error was detected, but over 250,000 worlds, their peoples and cultures perished in the Holocaust. You have destroyed most of a small galaxy. Please pick your words with greater care. I should probably mention that little part right there. Is a direct reference to a line in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Almost like exactly the same. Almost to the point where I'm pretty sure it's a fan fiction. It doesn't really matter. Wash off the shovel-tusk musk you had applied to your leg earlier. Stand up briskly and search for clues. Ask Scratch Fever what the matter is. You use the very last of your water to wash the shovel-tusk musk off your leg. There, that is much better. Now you no longer smell like the aftermath of a moose orgy. Scratch Fever stops clawing at your leg, which was becoming extremely painful. Oops. You ask Scratch Fever what the problem is, but his skill in American Sign Language is extremely low. It appeared he signed Thermal Donkey Operator, but you're not sure. Scratch Fever gained 1 skill in American Sign Language. His skill is now 3 out of 450. He could simply be saying that he is extremely hungry, which is very likely, as his happiness is well below 50%. You begin searching for clues as to the odd disappearances of the total NPC population of Razor Hill. Utilizing your keen eyes and heightened senses, you are able to track much faster and more efficiently than the finest blue-tick Georgia bloodhound. Unfortunately, this doesn't help you much at all, as there's no clues here whatsoever. Razor Hill is a ghost town. All the shops and homes are vacant, meals left resting on tables with steam still rising from them. You find evidence of jobs and activities in mid-completion, as though the NPCs had work simply despawned all at once. The sun is beginning to set. It will be dark soon. Feed a leftover meal to Scratch Fever and cast Glyphed Menpet at the same time. Scratch Fever is reluctant to eat the abandoned meal, but you stuff it down his throat until he stops complaining. His happiness increases, but as Scratch Fever was thoroughly creeped out by the whole somebody was eating this right before the world swallowed them up thing, it does not increase by much. You cast Glyphed Menpet on Scratch Fever to supplement this, and it seems to do the job. Scratch Fever's happiness is now at 75%. And he is no longer giving you the sad kitty hungry now face. Head north to Orgrimmar to report the disappearance of the NPCs. The war chief must be informed of this at once. You whistle for Beauregard, your trusted warg steed, but he doesn't seem to be anywhere nearby. Neither is Shamus, your black warkodo, or Mr. Puffins, your Ravasaur. All of your mounts are gone. Looks like you're on foot. You head out along the north path towards Orgrimmar. You were on the first leg of the journey through a long, red rock canyon towards the great horde capital city of Orgrimmar. To either side of you, unscalable red rock cliff face box you in, keeping you firmly in the winding path. Track humanoids, which is still active, is blank. I think you can actually have like multiple trackings on now. This story was written back in Wrath of the Lich King. Scratch yourself freely, since no one's there to give disapproving looks. Sweet, sweet privacy. Oh yes. Get boat. You can't imagine what you'd do with a boat, as you are in the desert, but you resolve to keep this firmly in mind. When you next encounter a boat, you will attempt to get it. Stop tracking humanoids and start tracking beasts. Now that's interesting. Durotar may be a sandy bowl of monotony and scorpions, and all the women may be too stuck up to go with any guy with less than 4 pieces of relentless. But the words desolate wasteland had never, in its entire history, ever been applied until the moment you swapped tracking. Right now, you should be tracking no less than 30 assorted pigs, dinosaurs, and scorpions. You can't even find a single critter. Scratchfinger, who is privy to your tracking, is thoroughly creeped the fuck out. Scratch Fever, mount Scratch Fever, ignoring both his protests and the fact that when you mount up, your pet disappears. You toss a paddle to distract Scratch Fever's attention, and then hurl yourself boldly onto his back with a lusty roar. Luckily, you've had some experience wrestling with wildcats, wink wink, so you quickly rise to the occasion, nudge nudge, and successfully mount Scratch Fever. You don't actually have sex with him, though. Scratch Fever gained skill. Novice mount. Ted Nugget gained 1 skill in animal husbandry. Gallop toward Orgrimmar with an eye out for any tracked beast. You continue northward, searching less with an eye out, and more WTF, where is everything? For even one beast anywhere within the huge umbrage of your keen eye and heightened senses. You thought you saw something for a moment, but it turned out to be a small rock. You are approaching the junction in the canyon. Sight ahead lays Orgrimmar and the war chief, who must be informed of this at once. To east lies another pathway that cuts through what you know to be Harpy Roost, and will eventually take you to the sea, or to the Zeppelin stand leading to Undercity and Gromgol. Inform the war chief of this at once. There is no time to dally about lustful, bare-breasted harpies and their soft, feathery legs. The war chief must be informed of this at once. You spur Scratch Fever onwards, past the junction and northward, emerging from the canyon walls, and oh Jesus fuck, the world's gone. Scratch Fever screeches to a halt at the edge of a sudden and extraordinarily steep cliff. Oops. That you are absolutely positive was never there before. Ever. You would have remembered something like this. Where there was once a great red rock courtyard and the looming spine towers of Orgrimmar, your beloved home is now a gaping sunk hole of undulting space. You gaze deeply into the abyss, and remember something about how it's supposed to gaze back into you. But you are not seeing any fucking eyes down there, man. It's just nothing. Nothing, and something worse than nothing. It is as though the world beyond this point has just been severed, cut completely away with a very sharp knife, and left to fall into nothingness. You have no idea how you're going to inform the war chief of this. Whew, man, I haven't read something like this in a while. I don't think I made too many mistakes. What do you think? I tried my best to, 1, not breathe too heavily into the mic, and 2, not mispronounce too many words, and if I did, to just keep going anyway. That way I wouldn't mess up with the sentence flow and structure. All of this could be completely negated if I just edited this video, but I'm not gonna. I like to use this channel as a way to practice script reading. So, completely unedited. As soon as it's done recorded, it goes straight to the upload queue. And lastly, I try not to laugh at any of the jokes. That's probably going to be a little bit harder when I get on to the chapters I haven't read already. But I think it really takes out from a story, if you're reading it, if you just start laughing at the jokes instead of just reading them straight. Those are the 3 things I'll try to work on with this reading. As long as I finish it. I actually started reading this a while ago. A couple months ago, actually. I did not have any intention to stop uploading on this channel. It just kind of happened. And then I never really got back into it. But so I tried recording this. And I looked at the first 2, because I recorded the first 2, whatchamacallit, the first 2 things. First 2 chapters or pages. Whatever they're called. And there was like a loud buzzing noise in the background, so I just got rid of it. So, part 2 will be in another video.